Shaking people, back with another reaction, back with some more video game music. And I believe for the first time we're going to listen to a track from the Mass Effect series. I talked about it, I know for sure, when I did a couple reactions to the Star Control 2 soundtrack. I've mentioned before, Star Control 2 was essentially Mass Effect 20 years, well not 20 years, because it was like 91, so like 15, 16 years. I think Mass Effect, the first one was 2007. I think it was actually 90 Star Control 2. No, that's not right. 92. I'm confident. So 15 years. But again, it's basically the same type of game, expansive, like explore different star systems, like go down and explore moons and try to find minerals and things, and then engage in diplomacy and or interstellar warfare like throughout the galaxy. It's really like the same kind of game, but just not with as advanced technology. So, and indeed, I've read articles where the people who made Mass Effect, who was it, like Hudson and the other people, they were like directly inspired by it. You know, several of them had played Mass Effect, so, or had played Star Control 2. Whatever. The point is, I don't think I reacted to any music in this franchise, and I really do enjoy this franchise. As an adult, this may be the most impactful game series I've ever played. Now, again, I've mentioned before, I play a lot of Halo, or at least I used to. I still play it once or twice a week with a buddy of mine who lives up in Alaska. We just play like a lot of campaign games, but the point is, no game as an adult affected me as significantly as the Mass Effect series. I think it's fantastic, the world building, the narrative. You know, there's some beats here and there over the course of the three games that maybe I would have written differently, but you could probably say that about anything. So all in all, I think it's a fantastic trilogy, and the music, as much as anything, stands out in all three installments. And my favorite installment might be the first game. Certainly the atmosphere, I think, is the absolute best in the first game. And one of the tracks that is not only, I think, most famous within the narrative because it comes at a really revelatory moment, but also because it's used as the title screen, like, you know, rolling over, like menu screen music, is the track for Vigil. And Vigil is an AI program left behind by a Promethean race, which, you know, you'll have to play the game to figure out what that's all about. Sorry, not Promethean, Protheans, sorry. I feel like there were a bunch of Mass Effect people, wait! But yeah, the Protheans. And yeah, it's a really epic ambient tune. It starts very in an austere and very simple way, and then it grows in melody and brightness. And yeah, it's just a really fantastic tune. I get why it was used as the menu track. I actually think there's some other tunes that are on the same level. The tune for Ios, which is actually, you know, the planet, or I think it's like a moon. I forget exactly what it is. But it's where you find the Vigil program. That music may even be my favorite. Like, I might like it more than the Vigil track. But the Vigil track, I felt like, was a good starting point. Side note, I am actually in the middle of a playthrough of the Legendary Edition, which is all three of the first games condensed into one, and I'm sort of stuck on the Citadel in the embassies for like several months now, mainly because I spend most of my free time these days making videos. So at some point I'll get around to finishing that playthrough with an infiltrator sniper custom appearance Shepard. But in any case, in the meantime, let's listen to it. This is by Jack Wall, one of the several, I think it's like 4 composers for the game, but this piece is by Jack Wall. It's called Vigil, and it comes from the Mass Effect 1 soundtrack, 2007. That is apparent in the game at this point is contained in the track. It's amazing. It's one of the tunes that will always stand out. Like I said, Ios is probably the one I'll do next. Or is it Ilos? I forget how it's pronounced. I think it's Ilos. But yeah, it's just a really cool game, atmospheric, well written, and ultimately things you couldn't do in Mass Effect, like, have different trajectories in terms of like romance options and so on. I mean, don't get me wrong, or did I say Mass Effect? I think I did. Things you couldn't do in Star Control 2, you can do in Mass Effect. So, as someone who had long enjoyed a spacefaring game where you meet different species and so on, when I encountered the Mass Effect game, it was just like, oh my god, like, this is like a game that I knew, but on a whole other level. So, yeah, like I said, we'll go through more music. I have tracks, I think, from all three games. Certainly not all of them, but I have like at least a handful of tracks. From all three of the original games. Admittedly, I've never played Andromeda. I don't even know the story. Like I've heard it takes place in a different galaxy, Andromeda. So presumably it's not directly related to the events of the like canon games, if you will. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some tie-ins, but yeah, ultimately, I am curious if anyone has played those games, or is it just one, or is there two now? I think it's just one, right? Anyway, I'll stop babbling, but I am excited to go through the music from the original trilogy because I think it's a fantastic series. So let me know what you think. I will see you next time. Peace.